Hello, my name is Carolina Fleischman. Welcome back to my channel. This is an environment where I will not only be discussing the most prevalent and problematic skin concerns, but equally important, I will be discussing physical fitness and nutrition with the goal to ultimately create a healthier, more fulfilling, and vibrant lifestyle. Now, let me start by prefacing that the reason I started with acne, it is because today acne is considered to be an epidemic, not only among teenagers, but as well as adult females in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and beyond. The acne process is the same whether you are a teenager or an adult female. And anybody that suffers from acne could tell you that it can be psychologically devastating because it does affect our self-esteem. As adult female consumers, we feel like we're not being taken serious because we're either faced with using a teenage medication that will dry us out and make us look older, or if we want to do something to de-age the skin, we're afraid to do so because for the fear of making our breakouts worse. So we need to be taken serious because it's a very common concern among adult females, and it's very, very unlikely to see a woman that does not suffer from some form of acne. Now, acne is a term to describe a process. It is an inflammatory process, and it starts in the follicle, and is medically known as retentive hyperkeratosis. It is believed to be hereditary, and it might skip a generation. So it makes sense that if mom and dad suffered from acne, it is very likely that the kids will get it as well. So if any parents are listening, please, my advice to you is to prevent it proactively, because there is no cure for acne. Accutane is only a temporary cure, and it only puts you on remission. And whether it comes back in 6 months, a year, 5 years, it will come back if the proper treatment is not followed. Acne is a very complex and multifaceted disease, and it's very challenging to treat. So, and I'm here to tell you that the acne lesion is the end of the process. So let me paint a picture of how acne occurs so you can understand why we need to treat it the way we do. So if you were to touch the outside of the surface of your skin, you're touching a dead layer, and it's called the stratum corneum. We shed about 500 million dead cells a day, and they're microscopic, and you cannot see them. Now, if you were to look inside a follicle opening, you're looking at a long, hollow tube. In the bottom, you have sebaceous glands. Sebaceous glands that produce oil. Now, the inside of the follicle is lined with dead cells, very much like we have on the surface of our skin. And dead cells are constantly shedding inside the follicle. Now, the reason we produce oil is not to keep us young forever. It is to push those dead cells into the surface of the skin where they sit there and fall off. Now, that is the normal process. That's what goes on in the skin absent of acne. Now, what happens when acne occurs? The cells inside the follicle start sticking together. And this is the beginning of the acne process, and is known as a microcomedone. A microcomedone is a clump of microscopic cells, and they can be dormant for as long as weeks, months, even years. Let me give you an example. The average age in the United States for the onset of puberty is about 9 years old. And puberty is not measured by menstruation. It is measured by the development of breast. So let's say you have a 9-year-old that is developing breast, and her skin is perfectly clear, but she is in puberty. So she goes to her 10th birthday and 11th birthday with perfectly clear skin. And on her 12th birthday, she wakes up and she has breakouts. Now, it is very likely that those microcomedones were dormant and started since she started puberty at the age of 9. You can have microcomedones at any time, and they can be dormant. Your skin will be perfectly clear. Now, so that is the beginning. The microcomedone is the beginning of the acne process. So it starts as a microcomedone, and acne can progress in many different ways. So let's say acne progresses. The cells continue to stick together. The follicle dilates, and there's an open comedone, or a blackhead, or a clogged pore. This is the mildest form of acne, but this is still a form of acne. When it gets more serious is when you no longer see a follicle opening. The follicle keeps dilating, the cells continue to stick together, and there's no oxygen inside the follicle. So this time, it is trapping P. acne bacteria. Now, P. acne bacteria is harmless. You have it all over your skin, whether you have breakouts or not. It is part of your fauna and flora. But it is a problem when P. acne bacteria gets trapped inside the follicle, where there's no oxygen, where there is dead cells accumulated and trapped oil. What happens is that P. acne bacteria starts eating the oil, and it forms a fatty acid byproduct that it is very corrosive and toxic to the follicle walls. So you end up with either a leak, a rupture, or a blowout. The type of lesion you will get depends on where the breakage in the follicle is. So let's say you get a leak. A leak is when the rupture or the breakage happens at the top of the follicle. Some of this material comes out, and this bacteria is very inflammatory. So the body perceives it as a foreign invader. So you get a papule. A papule is a red bump, or a pustule, which is a red bump with some pus on top. Now, let's continue. If you get a rupture is when you get a breakage in the middle of the follicle. Now, you have a larger opening and it's deeper. So what you get is a mini cyst or a nodule that's hard underneath the skin cysts, and they're very recalcitrant to treatment. Now, where do most adult females get their acne? In the type of mini cysts, in the perioral region. So let's continue. If you get a blowout is where the whole side of the follicle looks like it blew up. A lot of material comes out and it's very deep. So what you get is a cyst. A cyst is where the inflammation goes down into the dermis because it is so deep. Now, as the inflammation comes up to the surface of the skin, what it is doing is damaging the dermis or damaging collagen. And this is why it is almost always the cystic acne leaves a scar behind. A scar is a damage to the dermis or a damage to collagen, and it's a depression in the skin. So that is the end of the acne process. There's no cure for acne, but we can certainly prevent it proactively. Remember that the acne lesion is the end of the process. But with the right guidance and the proper products, skincare products, we can make it look like you never suffered from it. So I hope that this information was valuable for you to understand the acne process and how it progresses. And for this information to serve as a foundation from where we will build upon on our ongoing acne series. Since acne is such a multifaceted, complex disease, we will continue discussing acne solutions and the most common acne misconceptions. Please feel free to contact me. All my information is in the description below. And I will invite you to go to my website where every month I have a free ebook for you to download. And this month it is about acne, along with my blog where I provide you with further information. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, and remember, we all have something we would like to improve upon. So be kind to yourself and others along the way. In the meantime, stay happy, healthy, and keep smiling. Until the next time.